Just turn that sound off. Sorry about that. Okay, so if we look at our pronumerals on both sides, we can't do the solving the same way we have in our last lesson where we actually did the, the building of an equation if the pronumerals are both on the same side. We need the pronumerals all to be on one side. Now, a reminder, what does the word pronumeral mean? The letter. So if we have letters on both sides of the equation, it's going to be hard to be able to solve. What do you think we have to do? We have to move them so that they're all on the same side, okay? So if you have pronumerals on both sides, this is a bit like a note. It's the only words we're going to do, then we're going to do examples, okay? If there are pronumerals on both sides of the equation, you need to move them so that the pronumerals are on one side and numbers on the other. Now I'm just going to write in brackets, be careful with fractions and brackets because you still need to take note of them. You can't just ignore it and just go, oh, I have to move that pronumeral, so I'm just going to move it even though it's being divided by something or times by something. So we have to still stick to our rules, but also where possible, our first step should be trying to get the pronumerals on one side and the numbers on the other. So we're going to do an example of this. I'll give you some time to finish writing, but I'm just going to write the example as well. 3x plus 8 equals x plus 4. Do one of you guys need to move? So this is the example we're going to use. Notice that there's pronumerals on both sides and there's numbers on both sides. It's going to do another little asterisk and say it is easiest to move the smallest pronumeral. What that will do is it will keep your equation in the positive numbers where possible, rather than going into negative pronumerals, which get a bit confusing. However, if you move, whichever one you move, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got pronumerals on one side and numbers on the other, you should be fine. It just makes it easier for you. I'm going to try that in for you. All right, so if our goal is to move the pronumerals and I want to move the smallest one, which one's the smallest one? Just 1x. So you've got 3 x's on that side, 1 x on that side. So we're going to move that x. You move now, over there. What's happening to the x right now in terms of it to the 4? They're being added. So if I have to get rid of that x on that side, what would I have to do? If I've got to subtract it. If I've got an x on this side and I want to get rid of it, I have to subtract an x on that side. So therefore I have to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to move that and we're going to end up with 3x plus 8 take x equals 4. See how we've just moved it across? We've taken x from both sides. If we take x from this side, it disappears, but then we also have to show it in the other side. So if we simplify that, 3x plus 8 take x. If I've got 3 apples and then I eat one, how many apples have I got left? 2 apples. So I've got 2 x's there, yeah? 2x plus 8 equals 4. And now we've got an equation just like everything we did last lesson. And it's quite easy. So what are we going to move first? Yep, Sam? Okay, because we've got 3x and we've got take x, like terms, because they're the same thing, we're just simplifying that. And so we can actually change them to be that. Yeah? I'm glad you asked that. So 2x plus 8 equals 4. What are we going to move? The 8. So we're going to move it and make it subtract 8. So we're going to end up with 2x equals -4. Now I'm doing the minimum amount of working out here. Okay, so you must at least show this. Then I'm going to move the 2, and we end up with x equals -2. And that's your answer. Now, you don't have to show this, but I just want to show you what would have happened if we moved the 3x instead of the x. So this is fine for you guys, but I just want to show you it still ends up the same answer, but it's a bit harder to work out. So we've got 3x plus 8 equals x plus 4, so same formula. This time I'm going to move the 3x. Now, if I move it across, what's it going to become over the other side? 8 equals x plus 4 take 3x. Okay, when I simplify that, x take 3x equals -2x. So I know 4 take 2x. I'm then going to move the 4 across. So I end up with, so I'll just highlight what I'm moving. So I moved that, and then I'm going to move the 4. So it's plus 4 across the other side comes take 4. So we end up with 4 equals -2x. And so you end up dividing by a negative number instead of just like dividing by a positive number, which just for some people is a little bit more confusing. You still end up though with the same answer. So it's fine. Whichever way you decide to move, it's fine. Now, is this okay? Can I leave this like this? -2 equals x? Yeah, it's exactly the same as saying x equals -2. It doesn't matter which side. It doesn't matter which side the pronumeral is on, as long as the pronumeral is on one side and numbers are on the other. Are you guys okay with that? Do we need to do any more practice? No. What I'm going to do is we're going to let you guys do some practice for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to come back and do the fractions and the brackets. Okay, so it is in your booklet, I think it is page 3, whatever the next page is. It's 3-step equations. Could you please just do the left-hand side? A lot of you did just question 1 yesterday, and then you had to do all of question 2. I want you to do question 1 and 2, just the left-hand side though. You don't have to do all of them. So booklet, 3-step equations, question 1 and 2, left-hand side. When I write LHS, that's what that means. We are going to come back to our notes in about 10-15 minutes. Yeah, so like not in your journal, but in your, yeah. So because you've got that much working out to do, you're going to need to.